Today we're going to make a Mexican-inspired casserole. It's sometimes referred to as a tamale pie because it has this cornbread topping on it. However, I am going to make a version that has half of it with this, and the other half is low carb without the topping, which I think is just as good. But it's easy to modify. It's also easy to modify into a vegetarian dish if you want. Just leave out the andouille sausage and you've got vegetarian. I'm Dorothy, and I'm going to walk you through the ingredients really quickly. I've already got them prepped and cut up. If you want to see these videos and how to cut everything, etc., just let me know in the comments below, and I'm happy to do that too. But for the sake of keeping them short, I have prepped everything. So we've got one butternut squash cut into about 2-inch pieces. We've got a cup of jack cheese, white cheese, a cup of red and orange and green, if you like, bell peppers, a can of black beans, a can of diced tomatoes, 1 onion minced up, some andouille sausage, and this little cornbread mix. It says corn muffin mix in the store, but it's the only thing you can find for cornbread. Of course, you can make your own too, but this is just really easy. And then the spices will include some smoked chipotle pepper, some smoked paprika, and I've added some harissa because it has the cumin, coriander, and caraway, which I think adds a little bit more spice to the whole dish. Salt and pepper, and good to go. Okay, let's get cooking. First up, turn the burner to medium-high and add a little bit of oil. Then toss in the butternut squash. Get that last piece in there. Saute that squash for about 8 minutes or until it gets a little soft, and then add your minced onion. This was 1 whole onion and 1 whole squash, by the way. After the onions have cooked for about 3 minutes, add the cup of bell peppers. They can be red, orange, yellow, and then add the andouille sausage. And the sausage needs to be broken up and heated at the bottom of the pan and cooked until it's no longer pink. This might take, I don't know, 5 minutes? It depends on your burner and how hot it is. Once it's no longer pink, then we're going to add the beans, the can of black beans, and the can of roasted tomatoes, and stir that in together, and then we're going to add the spices. Spice amounts are really flexible. I added about 2 tablespoons of chipotle, 2 tablespoons of ancho, and 1 tablespoon of harissa spice. My dish ended up being fairly spicy, so if your chipotle is hot, you might want to back off that a little bit. I loved it, but it's all up to you. Now, thoroughly mix all of that together and then add the cheese. The cheese doesn't really need to melt completely because it will be going in the oven. Okay, time to make it into a casserole. So I'm taking all of the goodness out and putting it in this Mexican casserole dish. Okay, at this point, you can leave the topping off. I did the topping ahead of time. It's just the package with an egg and some milk. It's really easy. This is what it looks like without the topping. Oops, don't want to get it on the counter, and it's really good this way. However, we're going to make it into a tamale pie by adding a little bit of the cornbread topping, like I said before, only on half of it. Now this is not going to spread evenly. It's going to be pretty rustic. So just dabble it on, and hopefully my dish is not so full that it's going to overflow in the oven. Okay, smooth that out a little bit and let's put it in the oven and see what we've got. And there you have it. A Mexican casserole on one side and a tamale pie on the other. Low carb, not so low carb, but both excellent tasting. So I'm going to let it cool off for a few minutes and we'll come back and taste it. Be right back. Okay, it is cool enough now that we can give it a taste. Just a note, I did this really quickly and just kind of globbed the cornbread on. I like to call that rustic. It tastes really good. So, a little bit of the filling. That's done just right. This is pretty spicy. So if you make this, I would cut back on the spices, the chipotle, the smoked pasilla if you find it too spicy. It's pretty hot, but it's all up to you. Cheers.